Alright, let's talk about position 5 and how to play it like a pro with the long-term goal of reaching immortal rank. What is the secret? Don't overcomplicate things. If you master the basics, your MMR will skyrocket. So you're playing hard support on the safe lane. The first question you should always ask is, what do I want my lane to look like? In the current patch, the winning concept is simple but extremely powerful. You want to push the lane and at the same time pull as often as possible. Here's how it works. Your goal is to keep your carry farming under your tower. As soon as your carry clears the wave and the lane pushes forward, you immediately pull your creeps. This brings the lane back under your tower again, where your carry is safe and can farm freely. While doing this, you're denying your own creeps, which means the enemy loses experience, you farm neutral camps, and your team wins both the XP and gold battle. By repeating this pull pattern, you force every fight to happen near your tower, and that's where you have a massive advantage. Your tower gives extra armor and HP regeneration, making every trade better for you and your carry. The enemy takes worse fights, gets less experience, and slowly falls behind without even realizing it. This is how you dominate the laning stage as a position 5, before the game even reaches mid-game. Now that you understand the goal of the lane, let's talk about how to actually achieve it. And it all starts with your starting items.
Ready.
Rule number 1, no boots. Yes, you heard that right. As a position 5 in the laning stage, boots are a luxury you do not need. What you need instead is value. Your starting items should give you a good amount of regeneration, some early stats, and a blood grenade. This one is huge. The blood grenade gives you extra slow and damage, which can easily be the difference between forcing enemy heroes back or getting a kill. But the most important items you buy at the start aren't boots or damage. They're wards, and I mean sentries. This part is absolutely crucial. Your job is to block the enemy big camp so they cannot pull the lane under their tower. If they can't pull, they can't reset the lane, and that alone gives you massive control. At the same time, you must unblock your own small camps, so you can pull whenever you want and force the lane to be played on your terms. And that will provide you with the following. Enemy lane pulls denied. Your pulls enabled. Lane stays under your tower. That's the foundation of a winning safe lane. Get this right, and before any fighting even starts, you've already won the lane. Alright, now let's focus on the actual laning stage. Your main goal on the lane is simple. Enable your carry to farm, while at the same time making the enemy core's life miserable. And remember, your target is the enemy core, not the support. One of the best ways to do this is by mirroring the movement of the enemy support. If the enemy support approaches the lane from the right side, you position yourself on the left. This way, he can't harass you freely, and at the same time, you always have access to hit the enemy core whenever he goes for last hits. Your priority is to punish the enemy core every single chance you get. There are only 2 situations where you should actively trade hits with the enemy support. The first one is obvious. If the enemy support goes on your carry, you immediately hit him. Force him to back off or punish him hard enough that he risks dying. The second situation is when you're fighting under your tower. Thanks to the tower's armor and HP regeneration aura, you will almost always win these trades. So don't be afraid to play aggressively there. This is your territory. In every other situation, keep your focus on the enemy core. Harass him, drain his resources, and make sure he never feels comfortable on the lane. If the enemy core can't farm properly, the lane is already won, and your carry gets the space to scale into the mid-game like a monster. Now let's talk about objectives on the lane, specifically Lotus Pool and the Wisdom Rune, because controlling these can quietly win you the lane without fighting. As a position 5, you should always be aware of the Lotus Pool timer. It spawns every 3 minutes. Lotus Runes give you free HP and mana regeneration, and that means fewer trips back to base and more pressure on the lane. Whenever possible, take the Lotus for your carry, or use it to keep yourself healthy so you can stay active and aggressive. Even a small Lotus advantage adds up over time. Now let's move to the Wisdom Rune. This is extremely important, especially early on. If you secure the Wisdom Rune, you gain a huge experience boost, and more importantly, you deny it from the enemy support. That often means you hit level 6 faster. You unlock your ultimate earlier, and suddenly you're much stronger than the enemy support who is at least 2 levels behind you. If you can, always coordinate with your team to secure the Wisdom Rune. Sometimes it's worth leaving the lane for a few seconds just to make sure the enemy doesn't get it for free. By controlling Lotus Pools and Wisdom Runes, you're not just playing the lane, you're playing the map. And that's what separates an average support from a winning one. And finally, in the next video, we'll talk about rotations, how to move correctly as a position 5 and win other lanes without throwing your own. You'll learn when to leave the safe lane, when to stay and protect your carry, and how the right movement at the right time can completely change the game. Smart rotations don't just help your team, they win games before the mid-game even starts. So make sure to stay tuned for the next video.